It's starting to get warm in here already. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to The Box. This is our 2013 Mitsubishi Fuso FG that I'm slowly turning into an overland camper. Now it's been a little bit since I've posted a video on the Fuso build because I've tried to catch up on a lot of other projects that I have. But don't worry, the work hasn't stopped. In the background, I've been getting things ready for today. So what are we doing today? Well, you can't much go overlanding or camping without a bed. So today, we're gonna turn this into a place to sleep. You may recall the pneumatic lift cylinders that I was connecting on each corner to be able to lift the bed frame. Well, all of those are now complete. The rollers are installed on the tops, the straps and the connections are installed on the bottoms, on all four corners. Next, we need to work on supporting the mattress. So I have designed and printed a bunch of these. The idea behind these plates is twofold. One, they'll increase the surface area for the mattress to land on while still allowing air to flow into it so we don't get mold on the underside of the mattress. And two, they'll tie together the 1010 extrusion and the 2-inch flat bar. How are they going to tie the two together? Well, we're going back to our old friend, the zip tie. The underside of each plate has a gap for the 1-inch T-slot as well as the 1/4-inch flat bar. So when we pop this on here, it can't move forwards and backwards or side to side. On the underside of the flat bar, I'll place these clips like this to give a little bit of edge protection for the zip tie instead of going around a sharp corner of the aluminum. This part has, a little bit hard to see, but it has a nice round radius going around there. So what we end up with is an assembly like this. That may not seem like it's going to be very strong holding things together with zip ties, but in my earlier testing with this exact batch of nylon 6/6 zip ties, they're good for at least 50 pounds each. And in fact, that's what they're rated for on the package. Considering we have 5 places where each flat bar will cross each piece of extrusion, that gives us 15 locations or 30 zip ties. 30 zip ties at 50 pounds a piece is 1,500 pounds. There's no way this is gonna weigh 1,500 pounds. No way, that was completely unintentional. No way, what? No way. Speaking of what no way, check this out. Thank you, What No Way Guy, for this zip tie trick. And if you don't know who I'm talking about for What No Way Guy, do yourself a favor and just type in any search engine, What No Way Guy zip ties. You'll thank me later. But don't do that until you're finished watching this video. Now I'm gonna start by removing my prototype and installing all of my PETG carbon fiber mattress support plates. The idea here is keep it simple. I can print as many of these as I need, and zip ties are easy. If any of them break, it's something that can be repaired easily. It's simple, lightweight, and inexpensive. It doesn't take long to get through the installation either. Well, I mean, other than... All right, well, after a little bit of an interruption, we're back at it, and all of the tie point / support pads are now in place. So these now tie the 1010 T-slot to the 2-inch flat bar to stiffen everything up. So when we're trying to add weight here, these move as one instead of 2 individual pieces. Now you might be asking, is that actually going to be enough area to support a mattress on top of it without it dropping into all of the dips? And the answer is, I don't know. But the way that these have been designed, these fit both on the 1010 T-slot as well as on the flat bar, so I can always print more and stick one in between each going this way and one in between each going this way, which will greatly increase the area of the mattress that is supported. Now, before I go and throw a mattress on here, there's a couple more things that I want to do because once there's a mattress on there, it's going to be a lot harder to get at the areas that are underneath until I hook up the air line to the cylinders so that I can lift the platform, which makes sense to be the next thing to do. Blue air line runs from here, picks up a second line there, picks up a third line here, and now runs up to the front in this nice mess. And in this nice mess, all I've really done for now is hook everything together into one line. I expect this is not going to work properly but maybe I'll get lucky. The hope here is the air pressure will balance as long as I do this slowly enough. Should balance between all the cylinders and everything should go up level. There's not really any uneven weights on here. There's only one way to find out. I've hooked my trusty paint regulator to this, I don't know where I got this, but this is a little valve. I've dialed it down to like, I can't even read it, it's probably 5 PSI. So I just get a little bit of flow at the end here. So I can dial this up if I need more, I can dial it down if I need less, but 5 PSI is not very much. And it is ridiculously hot in here, so I've got the door open and I've got a little fan running to push the hot air out, if you're wondering what that background noise is. This is the first attempt at this. I have not tried this off camera first, so I'm gonna hook up this airline, push the button gently, and see what happens. Fingers crossed. A, it doesn't shoot through the roof. B, it goes up level. You ready? Here we go. About 5 pounds, the gentle push of the button. 5 pounds is not enough, so I'm gonna actually dial this up a little bit until we start seeing things go up. All right, taking significantly more air than oh, here we go. Just having, whoa, okay. So something on that side is freer to move than on this side. Ah, I know what's going on. Let it settle back down again. Leave the air out. Okay, so I did mean to do this before, but I forgot. On the top of each cylinder, there is a little Allen key there. And that little Allen key is a flow adjuster that's built into the cylinders. I need to adjust those to make sure they're the same on all 4 cylinders. All right, I've gone around and I've adjusted that. I'm assuming it's part of the exhaust port valve, but it's a flow control on all the cylinders, so they should be all about the same now. Let's hook it up and give it another try. Now, I do want you to understand this is not what's intended for the final controls of this. All I'm doing right now is hooking this up to make sure that I can move stuff. There's a lot more work going into the pneumatic side of this that has to come. I just want to see that it works. All right, round 2. So hooking the air up. I don't expect it's going to come up level, but let's see what happens. A little bit of air. Still quicker on this side. Get a little... Not bad. Looks like I need a little bit more guidance and clearance to get through here. Oh, I'm hitting my light. All right, well, that's about halfway up. The cylinders can definitely lift the bed. Definitely need some more guidance for the frame, which I'll show you in a minute what I've got for the sides. And clearly one button to control all 4 isn't gonna work. Like I said, this is not the plan for the controls. So let's see if we can let this back down again without crashing everything. Woo! There we go. Definitely not the control system that I want, but proven that air cylinders can lift the bed. Now, I also mentioned that I had something to help guide this structure up the side that I was going to show you in a minute. Well, it's that minute, and here it is. This assembly is something that I've managed to design and 3D print. Let me show you how it's going to fit. This is a spring-loaded rubber wheel 608 bearing assembly. I guess I'd call it a guide wheel. And it fits into the bottom of the T-slot so that the wheel will roll against the outside wall. Now, there's a couple of tricks to this. You can't just drop something into T-slot. Generally, you need to slide it in from the end. And, well, I can't slide things in from the end. But I have split this into 2. So we have 1/2 that drops in this way, 1/2 that drops in this way, and then the 2 halves slide together, and that forms the base bracket for the rest of the spring assembly. Now with this design, I can also remove the springs and print a fixed plastic piece, and that will keep this wheel in one fixed position at whatever wheel depth I want. So probably about a 1/2 inch of the wheel sticking out past the frame. That will allow me to have spring mounts on one side and fixed wheels on the other side. So we will have 2 spring rollers against this outside wall, 2 fixed rollers against this outside wall, which will give us the ability to keep this centered between the 2 walls and have about a 1/2 inch gap at the outside here and a 1/2 inch gap at the outside there. Now all of this is going to end up being underneath the bed, so until everything is finished and able to lift, you're not really going to see anything, but I wanted to show you what's keeping the bed from moving this way. It's not final, but you get the idea. Tire pushes against the wall, helps keep this centered. I don't know if the springs are going to be strong enough, but it's a starting point. Now, those tires are TPU rubber that are printed and fit over top of a PETG wheel with 608Z bearings inside them. So the roller should be pretty sturdy. Not 100% on the springs, but it's somewhere to start. Now that we have working air cylinders, supports for the mattress, and guide wheels for the side, it's time for the biggest change to the bed so far. That should be comfortable. That's not right at all. That's supposed to be a queen mattress, and that's barely 4 feet wide. I'm thinking somebody sent me the wrong thing. And after talking with Amazon, it was clear that they did. So they've given me a full refund, said I don't need to send the other mattress back, given me a $50 extra credit for my troubles, so I guess I'll just have to order a new mattress. Well, that's a bit of a disappointment to end on, but I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already, share the video around, but most importantly, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.